welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel, and thank you for your love and for your support. Okay guys, so if you're new to the channel, you're welcome. If you have not subscribed already, please, I would appreciate for you to hit on the subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. It actually takes nothing for you to subscribe, so I would really appreciate that. Okay guys, so in today's video, I actually wanted to sew, and then I discovered I did not have any pattern papers available. So now I want to cut a top, a basic top with bust dart and waist dart. And for those kind of top, you actually need a pattern paper, but I'm out of pattern paper. So I decided to make it as a freehand, and then I just decided to carry some of my subscribers along. So guys, so that is why I'm making this video. So if you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed, like I said before, please subscribe. Okay guys, so let's get started. So this is the beautiful fabric, Ankara fabric, that I'm going to be making use of. These 3 yards of fabric. I'm just going to need a little bit. So guys, let's just get started straight into the tutorial for today. Okay. Okay guys, so let's get started. So these are the measurements that I'm going to use. So the bust measurement that I'll use is 35, and then the shoulder measurement that I'm going to use is 13, and then the waist measurement is 28, and then the under bust is 24. So the first thing I'm going to do, my half cut for this dress is actually 16 inches. So for this, I added an extra of 2 inches to it because I'm going to add a bust dart to my front pattern. So my front pattern automatically is going to be longer than my back pattern. So this is the back pattern, so you can see the difference. So you can see that the front pattern is 2 inches longer than the back pattern. So I'm going to keep this on the side. The first thing we're going to do for this, so I'm going to just draw a line. So this line is going to be like my start up line, like this. So that's the start up line. So the next measurement we're going to impute now, we're going to impute the bust point. So the bust point for this is actually 9.5 inches. So this is 9.5 inches. I'll mark it like this. And then the under bust is 12.5. I'll mark it here. And then, like I said, our waist is 16 inches. So I'll mark that, and then I'm going to connect all of this line. I'll just screw them to the end. Okay. So the next measurement that I'm going to mark now, before I continue, since we're not using a pattern, I folded my fabric. So I actually used my bust measurement to fold the pattern. So the bust measurement, like I said, it is 35. When you divide 35 into 4, I'm going to have about 8.75. So I added about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4.5 inches thereabout to my pattern. So you can see I folded my fabric at about 14 inches, which is okay. So the next thing we're going to impute now, we're going to impute the shoulder measurement. Like I said earlier, I said it is 13. So you divide 13 into 2. I'm going to have 6.5. I'll mark the 6.5 on this point, and then I'm going to come and add just 1 inch allowance here. So from this point, this 1 inch point, I'm going to come down. I'm supposed to take 1 inch, but since I'm cutting directly on my fabric, so for this, I'm going to take my shoulder slope. So to take my shoulder slope, normally I'm supposed to take 1 inch, but since I'm cutting directly on my fabric, I don't want to take 1 inch. So I'll just come up a little bit, just above 1 inch, just a little bit. And then I'll mark it like this, and then I'll slope that into that shoulder line that I marked earlier, like this. So this goes in like this. So the next thing, I'm going to come from this point, I'm going to mark my chest line. So for this, the chest line, I'm using 8 inches, and that chest line is going to serve also. So the chest line is 8 inches. So actually, my half of my armhole also is 16. So my armhole is 16. So when I divide 16 into 2, I'm going to have 8 inches. Okay. So some can be 7.5. So you can decide to use that point as your chest line. But this, since it's like matched for me, so 8 inches for my half of my armhole. So this automatically serves as my chest line, which is okay. And then I'll just connect that line now to this point like this. And then from this point, I'm going to take a curve. So I hope this chalk is visible. I just hope. So from this point, I'm going to take this like this, and then I'm going to connect this. I'm going to mark. So I'll just create an armhole curve like this, so you can see it. I created it, and then from this point, it's just going to come in to this point, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do now for this armhole, I'm going to come in when I want to cut. I'll come in about half of an inch, okay? But let's just leave that how it is here. So the next thing I'm going to do now from this point, I'm going to impute my measurement now. So the first measurement I'm going to take out now is my dart. So for the dart, I'll take half of my bust span. So my bust span is from one nipple to another, which is 8 inches. I'm going to come to this line, 8 inches divided by 2. I'm going to have 4. I'll just mark that 4 inches across all of these lines, okay? And then when it gets to my bust line, I'm going to stop it at that bust line point, and then I'll connect it straight with a straight ruler, okay? So from this point, I'm actually going to take a dart of just 1 inch. So that 1 inch, I'm going to divide that into 2. I'll take half on this side and then half on this side. So that I'm going to show you later. So from this chest line, sorry, from this bust point line, I'm going to come down for my dart. That's for the waist dart now. I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So my dart is going to run to this point like this. You understand? So that's where it's going to run to, okay? But I want you to note, I'm still going to make use of this point. So, but for the bust dart, it's going to start from here, and then it's going to stop here. So that's for that. We'll leave that first. So the next thing now, let's take out our full body measurement. So for the full body measurement, the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to mark my bust measurement, which is 8.75. So I'll come to this line like this, and then I'm going to place that 8.75. That's 35 divided by 4. I'll place it here, and then on this point like this, I'm going to lose about 1 inch later. So I'll just impute that already. I don't want stories that touch. And then from this point, I'm just going to come in with about 2.5 inches, okay? It's okay, you can add 1 inch, you can add 2 inch, you can add half of an inch. It depends on how much allowance you want. For mine, I always like adding much allowance. If you have been following me, you would know. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to come to my under bust line. So for the under bust line, I'm using 24. 24 divided by 4, that's 6. I'll mark 6 here, and then I'm going to add the same 1 inch, and then add my stitching allowance also. So I'll add it here. And then for the waistline, I'm going to come to the waist point, which is 28. Divide that into 4. I'm going to have 7 inches. And then I'll add my 1 inch for my bust dart. Note, for my waist dart, I'll add it here. And then I'm going to add my stitching allowance. Okay, so I'm going to connect these lines like this. So let me use my pattern. I just hope this thing is showing. So I'll connect it now, okay? So the next thing now, for us to take out our bust dart now, I want you to watch, and then let's see what we have. So I'm going to check here, what do I have between here and my waist measurement? I have about 7, which is 3.5. Okay, so that 3.5, I'm going to come to this point like this. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm going to come to that 3, so you can see that even that it entered into my waist measurement. So that shows that the pattern is good, is correct rather. So I'll just mark that point. It came into my waist. So from that waist point, I'm going to draw a line that's going to hit this point. So I want you to watch. That's from that waistline. So it's going to hit the top of my pattern. So it's going to hit that point like that. And then when it hits that point, that's for my waist dart, my bust dart rather. On this side, I'm going to take out half of an inch here. And then I'll come up by half of an inch also. So from this point, that's half inch. I'm going to do this. This is going to flow into this point like this, and then this other one also is going to flow into this point. So they are just kind of going to intercept here. So once I take out this 1 inch, this inch now for my bust dart, so automatically this will truncate the length. So I hope you. So once I take out this will automatically truncate, it will shorten the length. So that is why I have extra length here. Okay, so that is for that. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this out, and then to cut this out, I'm going to actually use this to cut the back pattern. So that extra inches, that extra 2 inches that I have, is just simple process. I'm just going to hide that 2 inches inside, and then I'll take my back pattern like this. I'll place them together. So the only difference between these two pattern is this waist dart. So this other dart and the back dart is the same thing, you understand? So my back dart, this front dart is going to be the same thing with my back dart. So the next thing, I'm going to cut this out now. So in cutting this out, so I'm just trying to be safe. So you can see, so this is the extra that I have for, and then I'm going to cut this like this. So this is my pattern, and then I'm going to cut this like this. So all of my notches, so for the back, I'm going to place those points like this, and then just note where my dart is going to get to for the back. So my dart is going to get to this point, so I've marked it. So I'll just use a notch like this to hold that like this. And then for this, so this is the front pattern. So all of these notches, I'm going to notch them. That point for my waist dart, I'll notch it. And then the point for my bust dart, sorry, and then I'll notch the one for my waist dart. So guys, so you can see how this is looking. So at the end of the day, when I stitch, I'm just going to stitch here, and then I'll stitch here for my bust dart. Okay guys, so I have now come to the end. So this tutorial is just a beginners friendly tutorial. This is just like a basic, doing a basic pattern without a pattern paper. So thank you so much. So that's what I was just trying to prove, that you can actually do this on your direct fabric even if you don't have a pattern paper. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Please like this video if you find it helpful. All right, I'll see you guys later.